welcome to Crime Besties to episode 91. Had a few false starts this morning, but that's okay. Meg just said, who'd start a podcast? I don't know, what morons.
Idiots.
Morons. And of course, today's the day that we really need to get the recording done quickly because our bigger kids are playing inter-school sports today and we'd love to go and watch them.
Totally. Oh, my God.
But, you know, of course, today's the day that shit's not working.
It's just not working and everything decides to, like, you know, to be different. The screens look different and, and
for
oh, my
goodness
God.
sake.
Oh,
honestly.
insane.
Now, tell me, how's your week been?
Mental. Absolutely mental. Just everything. I've had kids deciding that their life's ruined by teachers telling them off for laughing. I've had, you name it. Yeah, work's just insane. Yeah, just ready for the weekend, but then I know the weekend's going to be full on too. Like it's not going to be the chill that I'm thinking weekend. I'm going to need. But anyway,
no, of course
not crazy, as in like just the regular sports stuff. But I literally was like, I don't know, the sports on when we get to these double sport season, I'm sure you're feeling the same, that it's like you sort of go, oh, okay, well, yeah, that's on Saturday, but Sunday we're going to get stuff done. And no, there's more sports. Oh, God. Yeah, and it just eats into your day more and more.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
And Oliver, my oldest son, he's gone up an age bracket in basketball. You know what time his game is this weekend?
What
4:15 p.m.
Oh, my God. 4:15?
Yep.
Oh, that's like time to be at home with a glass of wine.
Oh, obviously. It's really cutting into my, wine time.
That's drinks and nibbles time, as my parents would say from back in the day.
I love a Saturday arvo drinks and nibbles.
Drinks and nibbles, platter nights.
Yep.
Platter day Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no.
Well,
not until at least 5:30 probably.
No, that sucks. Yeah. And the thing with that is that you've still got your little that's games probably mid-morning.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm literally this morning like looking at how am I going to fit in like just picking up the groceries, and not that I do like a walk around the shop these days. I do
who does anymore?
I know, who does, seriously. When I hear people who do that, I'm like, what? Why are you wasting your time?
Exactly.
But yeah, I've jumped online. I've got my shop all ready to go, but I'm like, when will I book it for pickup, like kind of thing? And I'm a shocker. I book it for the morning regardless of what time I'm going to pick it up.
You're one of those
I'm one of those really annoying people, and occasionally I get a text message from Woolies saying, get here.
Yeah. I've never had that. You might be surprised to hear.
I've only had it a couple of times. Like clearly they've just been banked up. They've got too many orders sitting there or something.
Yeah.
But so like I'm like, when am I going to be able to pick groceries up this weekend? And I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to have to get up extra early and try and go and pick it up and get it home and unpack it before we then leave for basketball. And like, I'm like, oh, fuck this. That's always an after sport thing that I do, not a before sport.
Definitely. Well, soon you'll have time in between sport.
Yeah, well, in betweens next time. Yeah. Oh, my God. See, my kids, because they're a bit closer in age, I guess.
Oh, that's true.
Their games
There's
will probably
not a big
still
gap.
always flow on to each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
You end up with the gap, which helps with footy, but not with basketball.
That's right. Although footy this weekend's been a bit weird too. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. It's fine. We have to manage it all. We all know the juggle of it. The juggle is real.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this weekend footy, I'm like, drop one, go drop the other one, go back to the other one, watch that game, pick that one back and take the other one. Like I'm just going to...
Oh, yeah. Mine at least flow on from one to the next. Not much time in between, but we'll get there.
Yeah. No, this week will be lucky they're near each other in terms of distance because it can be shit with that. So.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's just fitting everything in is just mental.
Oh, it really
and then
is.
where are we meant to fit in,
Vacuuming?
going to the gym? Oh, yeah. No, that's what you need a thick Richard for.
Oh, no, I know. This is where I need to invest
you need
in
a
that.
robo-vac
Totally.
and
God.
mop. And mop.
But my issue with that is I need one that can suck up the most amount of dog hair you've ever seen.
There's got to be some... Yeah. There's got to be one that's made for that.
Look, they are. They're made for dog hair, but not that level of dog hair.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I vacuum most other days pretty much.
Well,
because
look, if you're flowing around with a stick vacuum picking up most of it, then a robo-vac would be fine.
Surely.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah. It might just have to redock a little more
seconds.
often than for other people.
Yeah.
I wonder if they all communicate with one another and they're like, oh, fuck, I've been placed in a household where I have to suck up bloody dog hair all day, and the other one's like, well, I'm in a household without kids and animals, so I
have a fucking
peachy.
cat that sits on me.
I love those videos. Does Grizz... Oh, no, you don't have one. I was like, does Grizz get freaked out by...
I used to have one, my old dog, when I had one previously, and and he used to get fully freaked out by it.
Yeah, okay.
I had to always put him out when I had it going. He did not like. He never barked that my lovely Fudge. But he would literally just shit himself and like run to the other room and like
shit
cry.
himself? Like
no,
actually poo?
No, he would run to a room and cry. Like just like, so I have to put him out so he didn't see it, because if he saw it, it was like
anxiety. Yeah, okay.
Oh, full anxiety. Yeah.
Piper, even Luna was the same. They just ignore it like it's not a thing.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Grease doesn't even like the regular vacuum.
No, Piper doesn't like our stick vac.
No,
but she's fine with the robo vac.
Yeah, right.
Go figure.
I see. That's weird. See, like, because I get freaked out by it when I walk around the house when I see it here and stuff, and I'm like always like, oh my god, mind your way.
I don't know what to do. What do I do?
Where do you want me? Oh my god.
It'll go around you. It's fine. Anyway, we have a lot to get through in terms of shout outs today, so I'm going to get started on that so we can get straight into today's episode.
We don't want more people bitching about our long
banters.
My
God, seriously. If you don't like our banter, that's okay.
Skip ahead.
We always put in the show notes when the banter's done and when the case starts. You don't have to send us messages about it. Just skip ahead. Awesome.
I love it. Like, the majority of people love it so much that they just get these randoms that like, oh my God, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
so many people message us and they're like, oh, I love your banter. Well, okay. Yeah, we're doing this for the people. All right. So first of all, Patreons.
Yeah.
We have quite a few new Patreons. So first of all, we had Tracy V this week, and I just wanted to give a special shout out to her friends Catherine and Caroline. They're based on the New South Wales South Coast.
Yep.
A group of 3 besties. They catch up for coffees most Friday mornings, and TCB has been a topic of conversation for them on more occasions than one.
Oh, my God.
Shout out to the 3 of you, Tracy, Catherine and Carolyn, and I love a little girl group, and the fact that you catch up every week, love it. Keep that up.
So cool.
We then have Rebecca Bunt, Shaz, Hayley Heaney, and Kimberly. So thank you to all of you guys for joining our Patreon this week. You are all in the draw to win a merch pack.
You are, and literally this is the last couple of days before this episode will drop on the 2nd of June. And you have until the 4th of June, so you only have 2 days left, guys, to enter in our draw to win that merch pack. So if you are really wanting to do that, this is your last chance. So jump in there and join the Patreon and you might win a merch pack.
Good luck to everyone who
Absolutely. We'll be
enters.
drawing that very soon.
Now, buy me a coffee.
Oh.
Miss Tan strikes again. I think we've mentioned her in the last 3 episodes.
By the way, I actually saw a bit of a photo of her from our socials.
Oh.
Holy fuck. What a hot nan. Hot grandma.
Is she?
Holy shit.
Oh,
she's looking amazing.
Oh, Miss Tan, you
Holy
go, girl.
Crap. Grandma, bullshit.
And her grandkids are teenagers.
13?
Yeah.
What? Oh, I was like blown away.
Oh, Miss Tan, you go, girlfriend.
Yeah.
So last week she bought us 1 coffee and then she bought us another one this week and she's like, oh, I didn't realise I only bought 1 and there's 2 of you, so I've bought you another one.
We share. No.
No, we won't.
Well, no. Emma will down that one before I get a look in.
Yeah, bloody oath. Oh, God, I can gulp them back.
You really can.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up some days, but I try.
All right, so we've also had so much engagement on the socials this week. It's really hard to pick out different comments, but I've done my best to pick out a few of the ones that really kind of stuck with me. So first of all, thank you to Louise Francis. She said, we are her new favourite podcast and she got up to date in the last 3 weeks.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
Literally have listened to 80 odd episodes, 9 episodes.
Oh, including those first few? Ooh.
Oh, the first ones. I'm so sorry, Louise, but thanks for sticking with us regardless. Jennifer Newth, she said she just absolutely loves our banter. See? And our insightful storytelling. So thank you, Jennifer.
It.
Yes, we like to think we're insightful. Definitely.
I love it when I shared that screenshot to you guys in our TCB group chat with producer Pete, and he was like, "Make sure you shout out the asshole that gave us the bad review."
I'm like, no, I'm not giving him.
No, I don't even know what his name was. I assume it was a bloke too. Why am I assuming it's a guy?
No, I think it was a woman. I did look a bit into it. Lauren Gibson. So she actually I think you had the banter back and forth with her on the socials, but she made a comment that she can hear Chewbacca in our intro music.
Yes.
And now that I hear it, I can't unhear it.
Yeah, totally. Sorry, what was that? Do it again.
I'm not going to do it again because I'm already going to embarrass myself in this episode with different accents and whatnot. And then I just wanted to give another shout out to a really long-time follower of ours, a really loyal listener named Rue. She's had a baby named Harper, and she sent us the most beautiful photos of Harper with her pet toy axolotl. Not pet, toy.
No one else is that stupid.
And apparently her dad said that Harper looked like an axolotl when she was born because her hands were always up by her face.
So cute.
So cute. Marianne Dawson, who I have to say, I see her name coming up all the time in all our stories. She always likes them, claps them, whatever.
Yeah.
I do see her name coming up, and that just, it means so much. Like, I really appreciate that kind of engagement. And then finally, I need a massive shout out to Annie and her best friend Melissa. So Melissa gifted Annie a piece of shit mug at dinner last night. Absolute piece of shit mug. Not the mug's not the piece of shit.
Oh no,
it's the slogan on the mug.
Yep.
For those of you watching at home, Meg's just showing off hers. And Melissa also bought one for herself so they can, think of us and each other when they're having their coffees. And Annie just also said that she may possibly use hers as a wine cup in the evenings. Don't hate that.
Like when we play a game sometimes of, is it coffee? When we go to footy at night?
Yes.
have you a cup with your lid
everyone
on? You keep
knows
cup
a good
one.
Keep cup.
And then send a photo and go, have a guess. What's in my cup tonight?
Is tonight a G&T night?
Or a Negroni?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love me a Negroni.
Maybe it's a Negroni on occasion when I go to footy, not coffee.
That's it. Anyway, so thank you to absolutely everyone. So much support. I know I say this every week, but it really isn't lost on us just how wonderful people are and how engaged our audience are. We really appreciate it. I haven't mentioned
too, and off the top of my head now I can't remember who, because there was a good few people that have sent this to us actually.
Yeah.
This video of an axolotl who was clearly a lot smarter than Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
Who plays tic-tac-toe with their owner on the tank, right? Maybe we should share it in the socials, the video, which is absolutely gorgeous. So my kids have been attempting to play it as requested and hasn't gone well.
Kyle's like a floating turd.
Well,
I just don't really...
Brody reckons he won a game.
As in... Kyle won a game.
He reckons Kyle won one of the games, but he goes, but that was... what did he say? He goes, but that was me kind of, giving him a leg up. Like, what do you mean?
You mean playing on his behalf?
Yeah, like choosing a square that might beat you. Which is, he never lets anyone else do. So impressed that he didn't cry because Kyle won.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Look, he's growing. He's growing as a human. I love it.
But yeah, it's been attempted. But now the glass of the tank looks horrendous because I didn't have a whiteboard marker at home. It's just not something I have lying around my house. So they've used the chalk liquid chalk that I use on my other board on the tank. And oh my God, I just
cannot. You need isopropyl alcohol to get that super clean.
Clean it because the Windex is really just not cutting it.
No, Windex doesn't cut it.
And I don't really want that going in the tank, I guess. But
maybe you don't want the isopropyl alcohol going in either.
Little giggly, drunk little
sensitive laughter.
Oh my God. So the tank's looking filthy now. So they're trying to play tic-tac-toe with him, but no.
Is this a weekend for cleaning out Kyle's tank?
Definitely. Oh my God.
It needs it.
Oh God, it's gross.
Oh, yuck.
It's a nightmare.
All right, well, you enjoy that.
Yeah,
well,
fun.
I'm sipping, after bloody 5:30 p.m, sipping on my mimosas and whatnot.
Yeah, do that. Yeah. I don't know if I can
send you a photo. You might need to have one while you're cleaning the tank. That's the only thing that'll make it semi-bearable.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay,
all
thank you.
Today we are discussing, I think we spoke in a Patreon episode, I don't know, a few months ago about cases that really stick with us. And this was one of the cases that has really stuck with me for honestly, the reason was because I was glued to the court proceedings that was broadcast internationally at the time. And honestly, it was probably, I was probably too young to really be invested in the O.J. Simpson court case and seeing that, although I do remember seeing bits and pieces.
Yeah, definitely.
Where I was a bit older when this happened, and more invested and more engaged, especially in the court process. And I remember that really intrigued me and fascinated me at the time.
Fact too of like who he was before all this.
Have we said who we're doing?
No.
We're doing the Oscar Pistorius and the murder of Reeva Steenkamp.
Yes, let's call it that.
Yeah. So, yes, sorry,
yeah,
keep
so
going.
I think he was, I mean, particularly like this is like within a time frame of him becoming world known.
He was so famous.
At the time.
Like not long before this happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to get into all of this, but not long before this happened, he was performing on the world stage.
Exactly.
You know, everyone knew who he was because he has a unique story.
Definitely.
So, all right, let's get into it. I wanted to actually go through Reeva's background first.
Yeah, love that.
Just because, you know, she is the victim in this.
Let's highlight her.
We really need to highlight her. So Reeva Rebecca Steenkamp was born on the 19th of August in 1983 in Cape Town, South Africa. Her parents are Barry and June Steenkamp. Her dad was a horse trainer. And when Reeva was young, her family relocated to Port Elizabeth, which is along the coast of South Africa. When I look it up, it's beautiful. It's really lovely. Mm-hmm. She spent the rest of her youth there and ended up finishing off her schooling there.
Yep.
When she was growing up, she was a pretty avid horse rider herself. I mean, given the fact that her dad was a horse trainer, I guess you grow up in that environment. That's something that, you know, she developed a real passion for.
Yeah.
And when she was in her early 20s, she actually suffered a really severe fall from a horse. She broke her back at the time and she had to undergo like really intensive rehabilitation to get herself even walking again.
Learn to walk again, like kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think that shows that, you know, I think that would develop a resilience in a person. That's something that would change your life. And for her, I guess it could go both ways, but for her, it definitely meant she put her mind to something and she wanted to get back walking and get back to all of the things that she loved doing.
Gratitude for life and what that can bring, I guess, like in terms of, you know, putting your mind to something and sticking at it, but also like this idea of like, you know, life's short, like live it to the most.
Yeah.
So
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
When she was 14, so this was before she had this fall, but when she was 14, she began modelling. Her parents were quite strict and education was 100% paramount to them, but they allowed her to continue modelling and start modelling and building a career in that arena, provided her schooling didn't drop off.
Yeah.
Because she was a really intelligent young woman.
Yeah.
So after she finished school at St Dominic's Priory School, she enrolled at the University of Port Elizabeth, which is now called the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University, and she actually graduated with a Bachelor of Laws degree in 2005. So I think that says a lot about her intelligence.
She's incredibly intelligent, yeah.
And her dedication. I mean, that's not an easy degree to obtain.
No.
But yeah, she was amazing. She worked as a paralegal after finishing while she was at university, she was working as a paralegal and then continued that on after finishing university. But her modelling career at that time really started to take off.
Can you imagine being the person who, you know, like you've got this option in life where you can either be a lawyer or be a successful model. I mean, there's being a model and then there's a successful model, you know, like kind of thing, and being able to have the jobs that she ended up with.
Yeah.
And the level of modelling that she was doing. I mean, that's just incredible to be that well-rounded, I think, in everything. But also, like, when I was looking at photos of her doing this, Jesus, she was stunning. Like, to the point of every photo I looked at her, she had minimal makeup. And I love that. She was such a natural beauty. But you can see the light coming through from internally, I think. Like, there was beauty within, like not just externally, I mean.
Yeah,
like,
I know what you mean. She had it.
Yes. Yeah. And like just this natural, completely natural, breathtaking beauty. Yep. She was stunning.
She had amazing hair too.
Oh, yes.
Like really good hair.
Yeah. I mean, she just literally is like this amazingly talented, intelligent person, academically, but obviously someone who could attract people and draw, you know, to her, you know, to be able to, you know, engage with people, and also then through her modelling as well, that and then presenting and things that she did as well. She did a lot of moved into that realm as well. So incredible.
Yeah, she's incredible. So her career, as I said, started to take off a little bit after she finished university. And that basically meant that she needed to move to Johannesburg in South Africa in order to really take advantage of all of the opportunities. Like where she was living, there wasn't a huge amount of scope there. So she moved to the main city. And this was sort of in the early 2010s by this stage. She was a cover model. She appeared in FHM magazine. She became the very first face of Avon in South Africa. Do you remember Ding Dong,
Ding
Avon
dong.
calling? Yeah. One of my mum's friends was an Avon lady.
Yeah.
And she used to have this basket of samples. And on the odd occasion, she must have let her customers and stuff have the samples for a few days, and sometimes she'd leave the basket at our house.
Yeah.
And I'd get to like try all of the things. Oh my God, it was like heaven. It was like heaven.
Oh gosh.
So she also then worked as a live presenter for fashion TV in South Africa, and she starred in so many TV commercials, like heaps and heaps. She was the kind of person that brands wanted to represent them, because of her beauty. And as you said, she had that sort of it factor.
She definitely did.
She was in the process of transitioning into a bit of a reality TV stream not long before all of the rest of this took place that we'll be talking about in a minute.
Yep.
And she landed a role as a celebrity contestant on season 5 of the reality TV show Tropica Island of Treasure. It was set in Jamaica, so she got to go there and film a season of that. And it was released, I think, a couple of days after she passed away.
Yes.
So it was just...
Yeah, she was sort of really, like, her career was, like, really taking off in another realm, like, kind of thing, another factor.
It was kind of going to that next level, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really, I think, sad in this because she gets known a little bit as a celebrity girlfriend when actually she had her own career in her own right to being in that celebrity world.
I think you're so right, and that's why I felt like it was really important to start with her.
Absolutely.
Because I think a lot of her achievements and accomplishments go unnoted in a lot of the things I've read don't even mention that she had a degree or the way that she started. I think she was a whole person, and just because her boyfriend was a celebrity, I mean, she was too.
She was too. And
not on the world stage like he was.
But she was getting to that.
That's what I reckon.
I feel like if there was more time for her, she would have ended up there.
Yeah.
I can really see that for her, which is just shit.
Yeah, really shit. I'm going to start now with a bit of background on Oscar Pistorius. So Oscar Leonard Carl Pistorius was born on the 22nd of November in 1986 in Sandton, Johannesburg, South Africa. His parents are Henke and Sheila Pistorius. He was the middle child of 3 siblings. Now, he also grew up in an incredibly strict family. They were I've heard them described as a very prominent family, known like within a lot of social circles in South Africa.
Yes.
So Oscar was born with a rare congenital condition. It was called fibular hemimelia, which basically means that he was born without the fibula, which is the outer narrow bone in the lower leg.
Long bone of the leg,
Yeah, and he also was missing certain parts of his feet. So his parents were given the option of either they could do reconstructive surgery, which would potentially take multiple surgeries when he was young, and then as he grew, he would have to continue to have surgeries until he was fully grown. The other option was to amputate his legs just below the knee, and in which case he could, get prosthetics straight away and just learn to live like that right from a very young age. So it would have been a really tough decision, but they made the decision when he was 11 months of age to amputate his legs below the knee. He then, a few months later, got his first prosthetic peg legs.
I think by the age of 17 months or something, he was walking on prosthetics.
Yeah.
Which
absolutely
is phenomenal.
Fine. I mean, I guess if you grow up that way, and look, Oscar, when he's interviewed about this, he says that he knows no different, and his parents certainly didn't treat him like he was anything different because of.
He was quoted as saying, for having what he'd gone through in terms of having amputated legs, he had the most typical, usual childhood.
So much so that he played all the sports
Yeah.
that everyone else played, like rugby, swimming.
Yeah. His parents treated him no differently. He was to, you know, do what everyone else was doing, no questions asked.
I think he also has mentioned in several interviews that I've been listening to that his parents had this like sort of no excuses policy in their house. So they weren't allowed to say, no, I can't.
Yeah.
They had to try their best at whatever it was that they were doing and give it their all. And so that probably put him in pretty good stead for, you know, the trajectory of his career and how that ended up.
We should also mention too that with this surgery, when he had his legs amputated, the surgeons were able to remove the heel from his foot that he did have and be able to attach that to the base of the amputation so that he was able to then walk on the stumps of his amputation without pain and things. So that there was still that padding of like what would be the bottom of your foot being able to be used as well. So he had the options then of being able to walk without prosthetics or with prosthetics. Obviously not as easily without them potentially. It would be more awkward, I guess, but still without pain and be able to manage that.
Yeah, we'll get to what I think about that later. Yeah. About walking on his stumps, I mean.
Oh, yeah. That's why I thought it's very important that we mention that it's possible.
Agreed.
That he can do that. Yes.
So apparently he was a really energetic child, and throughout his school time he would always compete with able-bodied peers. He never...
And played like rugby and stuff like that. It wasn't like it was, you know, I'll play tennis where it's non-contact or something.
I think he did play tennis as
well.
well.
I mean, he probably would have as well.
All of it, but
I mean, very much contact sports
and
were involved.
Boxing and stuff like that. Playing, like he'd do boxing and, you know, other things that you think you would need a fair bit of, you know, movement and dexterity for. Yeah. But yeah, he was amazing. So... Personally, he had a little bit of a tragic childhood. When he was young, his parents divorced and his dad was very, very strict. And look, there's not a lot out there to sort of say exactly what was going on in the household, but just reading between the lines, I just wonder whether there was a bit of maybe verbal abuse going on. I think he was a really hard man. You can certainly see interviews with him now since... all of this has come out in the media. He's given interviews. He's seen in the court when all of this was going through, and maybe he's softened a little bit in his old age. I don't know. But I guess the children were given the option of who they wanted to live with after the divorce, and they all chose to live with their mum. Unfortunately, in 2002, when Oscar was only 15 years of age, his mother passed away. So she had a hysterectomy and they gave her some pain medication that she had a severe allergic reaction to, and she passed away. So the kids then, obviously, I mean, what an absolutely tragic thing to happen at such a pivotal time in your life. Yeah. They then were obviously went to live with their dad. I just think, I can't even imagine what that would have been like for him and his siblings. No, that would have been really, really tragic. And from what you sort of get from what I've read, it really did hit him hard. And I'm not, probably his siblings equally. I'm not, you know, but you unfortunately only hear about Oscar in terms of that. Yeah. But yeah, he did take it really, really badly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, as you would. Yeah. So in 2003... So by this stage, it was a year after his mother had passed away. He was 16 years of age, and he suffered a really severe injury when he was playing rugby. It shattered part of his knee. Now, obviously, he needed the movement in his knee to be able to operate his prosthetics, and so it was sort of put to him that he probably shouldn't ever play rugby again. And then as part of the rehabilitation coming back from this really severe injury, part of what he could do to sort of build some strength back up in his knee was to start running. And he found that he had quite the knack for it. And it was something that he just kind of really naturally took to as like a little child prodigy at this point in terms of running, and it wasn't anything he'd done before. He hadn't trained for running, like I mean, obviously running in other sports and always been noted as being, you know, pretty quick, but then to actually do it as a you know, focused sport is a very different thing too, though. So he competed at the junior championships in 2004, so it was only a couple of months after he began training, and he won everything. Won everything. I know, with this, I watched a few of his races, like in early races particularly, like that I went back to, that like
Oh my God, he didn't win. He absolutely killed it. Like
Annihilated
he was winning by like lapping people basically. So he competed in like 100 meter, 200 and 400 meter. 400 meter was his absolute jam though too. Like, so he would, in that he would literally lap people, which is insane.
Yeah. Crazy.
And we're talking able-bodied as well as other disabled-bodied people. So equally as much.
Yeah. He was incredible.
Yeah.
So because of this, around this time, people in South Africa certainly were taking notice of him. He was obviously doing something amazing. And it was coming up for the Olympics and Paralympics, and he tried out for the 2004 Athens Paralympics. He was only 17 years old at the time. They nicknamed him from that Olympics onward the Blade Runner because he had these carbon fibre sort of J-shaped prosthetics that he would use when he was running. They were called the Flex Foot Cheetah. He got a bronze medal in the 100 metres and a gold medal in the 200 metres at the Athens Paralympics. And one of the commentators in one of his races said, he's the fastest man on no legs.
Well, funnily enough, he did become the 22nd fastest man on the planet, and that is
able-bodied and not.
That's any man running, whatever, like any person running, 22nd fastest in the world. That, I mean, as someone who is a double amputee, holy cow.
Yeah.
Insane.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
He then continued his training and competing, and he competed in the 2008 Beijing Paralympics where this was his year. He just got gold in everything he went for. So, as you said, the 100, 200 and 400 gold medals in all of that. Mm-hmm. So, because he was sort of really...
It was winning so
easily. And it was. Like, if you watch some of the Beijing Olympics, you're like, oh, he was winning by like 100 metres in some instances. It was just insane.
Yes.
So he decided that he wanted to not just dominate para-athletics, he wanted to move into the mainstream and wanted to compete at the able-bodied Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
In order to do this, he had to apply through the International Association of Athletics Federations, the IAAF. They initially banned him from mainstream competitions because they felt that there were several reasons.
Yeah.
They felt that his blades gave him an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
That because he didn't have lower limbs, that he was lighter, and somehow, therefore, that made him... would make him quicker.
Yeah.
They also, I guess they didn't really understand the technology of his prosthetics because they thought that the shape of the prosthetics would give him like a bit of a spring advantage.
Push
even
off,
though,
flack.
So upon appeal, because Oscar was like, no, none of this is actually true. He took it to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and they did all of the
actual
biomechanical research into. Was this an advantage or wasn't it? Because they wanted it to be fair too.
Yes, which is totally fair. I get
definitely,
it.
Yeah. And he probably wanted it to be fair so that when he wins, it's a legitimate win.
Yeah, no one can question it.
Nobody can question it.
Yeah.
And they did. So he ended up, he missed out qualifying for the able-bodied Beijing Olympics, but he's then set his sights on the London 2012 Olympics, and he'd been given the green light to be able to compete, which he did. So he actually really, in the lead up to the 2012 London Olympics, he really started to gain notoriety internationally because people are looking at this Paralympic runner who's now moving into the mainstream. At the 2011 World Championships in South Korea, he won a silver medal as part of South Africa's 4x400 relay team. Now, that really was the thing that I think captured global attention.
Yeah.
And then I think, the media were following his story then all the way through to the London 2012 Olympics, where he made history by becoming the first double amputee to compete in the Olympic Games. He ran in the individual 400. I think he got to the semi-finals, and then in the 4x400 they got a silver medal, I believe.
Yeah.
So he was, by the end of this campaign, he was a global icon. Like I remember it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that long ago, really, when you think
really
about
not,
it.
No.
He was named Time Magazine's one of their top 100 most influential people. Along with all of the fame and notoriety that he got from you know, from being this sort of global icon now, he had also attracted a huge amount of sponsorships.
Yes.
And so he had sponsorships with Nike, Oakley, like so many, a watch brand.
You've just said that Oakley one. I fully remember the Oakley ad now that I'm like thinking about it. Oh my God. Yeah.
The Blade Runner sunglasses.
Yes.
I remember it so distinctly.
Oh God, I hadn't even
And so he ended up amassing quite an income and quite a fortune over this time. He was, you know, this was multi-million-dollar deals that he was doing over the course of these years.
Yes.
So he basically, I think at the time that all of the incident, I think he was worth something like maybe almost $10 million US.
Yeah, I feel like you might be right. I feel like I've read that.
Yeah, it was a considerable, you know, sort of net worth.
Yeah.
All right. So how did Reeva and Oscar meet? Now, there's a little. Did you find there were like a couple of different stories?
Slightly
about
different
this?
stories, but also like when I looked into this too, I was floored by the fact of like how short their relationship was, because the way I guess for us on the outside of all this at the time when it was coming through the media, it was Reeva Steenkamp, Oscar Pistorius' girlfriend. You know, like that's all you knew of it. So you kind of had this assumption of
it had been going on a while.
Girlfriend. It wasn't as long term as we all, I think, perceived it as at the time.
No.
I'm fairly sure that most people would think the same way.
Yeah, I definitely did until we were looking into this now.
Yeah.
So basically the first public outing they had was their first date.
Yeah, they'd met at a few places, and both had I think significant others at the time when they had first met, more casually. But Oscar had eyed her off and been like, she's amazing. And so, he called her because he had needed a date at the last minute. I think he's actually broke off with his girlfriend or something at the time. And then he went, oh, crap, I need a date for this event.
Yeah.
What was it, the sports something, some sports awards thing? Or
the South African Sports Awards.
Yes.
So during that day, though, he'd been at an event for a car dealership where he'd bought like his, luxury McLaren or whatever it was. It was some like super luxe car that he'd bought.
Yeah.
And Reeva just happened to be at this event as well.
That's right.
And the person who organised the event, Justin DeVaris, knew both of them independently of each other, which is why he invited them both to the event.
Yeah.
And I think this Justin knew that Oscar was going to this event that night and that he'd recently broken up with his girlfriend and was like, oh, why don't you take Reeva? Knowing that Oscar sort of, liked the look of her and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that came about.
Yeah. Yeah, so they walked the red carpet of that event as their first date. Like it's a bit weird. Like,
it is a bit weird, and it's also like you can see red carpet footage from that night. They both get kind of interviewed on the red carpet. It's a bit awkward.
It's a bit awkward, but also like at one stage, Reeva was being interviewed, and they were interviewing her about her stuff that was going on for her, and she kind of I think to her credit, was like, but tonight I'm here for Oscar.
Yes.
And she flipped it back to the light being on him, which I think is, so she didn't have to do that. She could have promoted herself at the time. And she didn't. She answered their question. Not to say she dismissed them entirely, but she then flipped it back to kind of go, but I'm here tonight for Oscar, and like it's about him tonight. And so it was really interesting.
Yeah.
But they pretty much from that night on.
It was fast and furious, wasn't it?
Which apparently Oscar was known for.
Yeah.
He was known for meeting women and really, will I use the words, love bombing, really over the top like that. I actually saw a really interesting interview with him. Which it was being presented as if this was like, Oscar, what a great guy, which I just saw it. What he said I found quite revolting.
Okay.
So what it was he was saying that he was in the interview. He was saying how some kids are a bit unsure about him when he's on his blades, right? And kids will ask questions like because they're like kids being kids, and he will quite often like joke with them and everything and try and give them a scare and go, they'll say like, oh, how did you lose your legs? And he went, oh, shark bit me, or a tiger, funny, haha. And he goes, unless their mum's nearby and she's good looking, and then I'll tell them like you have to eat your vegetables, like otherwise you'll lose your legs, and he like kind of cheekily like. And I'm like,
If we didn't know what we know, maybe you'd be like, oh, cute.
Oh, cute. But like he's only like I think 23, 24 in this interview. Like I mean, he's younger than I thought too. To be honest, in all this.
Yep. Same.
Again, that was something else I just assumed of him being older as well.
Same.
But yeah, he was like 23, 24 saying this. That I just kind of go, why are you hitting on mums? Like, do you know what I mean? At that age, like and why are you commenting about?
Oh,
that?
Maybe he knew his audience because he was very good looking.
He was very good looking. Absolutely, but I just got an you just get this idea of him being a little bit like someone who, I don't know, ogled women and like kind of had an opinion of women that, they were his to flirt with and do what he wanted with. Okay. I don't know. I just kind of got a vibe that I'm like, ew.
Yeah, okay. You got the ick.
I did get the ick. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think as we were saying, their relationship was very intense very quickly.
Yeah.
And it was only a few months in that everything kind of started to unravel. So let's get into it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So first of all, I'll give a bit of context about where Oscar was living, and because I think it's important as part of the story. So Oscar was living in a very affluent part of South Africa.
Yeah.
And in Johannesburg, or in Pretoria, sorry.
Pretorius, yeah.
And it was called the Silverwoods County Estate. Now, we know, I think everyone knows, that crime in South Africa, especially at this time, we're talking, it was a very interesting time, I guess, in South Africa, post-apartheid.
Yeah.
And it was a dangerous place to be. So if you were wealthy and you could afford it, you would live in one of these gated communities.
Yeah.
Now, again, you can go and have a look online and see what the actual fortresses looked like that
Fortress,
people live in.
I love that you called it that.
It is literally concrete walls with 240-volt, like almost prison razor wire on the top to deter people from getting in.
Yes.
Now, he lived in one of these really sort of one of these
affluent estates.
Yeah. It had a 24-hour man security gate, biometric access, so you couldn't just like steal someone's gate card to get in. It was actually biometric access. Foot patrols by armed guards. They had golf carts that would go around and literally patrol the gated community 24 hours a day. A bit of context about South Africa. In 2013, which is the year that all of this takes place, there were 45 to 47 murders per day.
Yep.
Per day.
Yep.
In South Africa. The next most common crimes that were reported were carjackings, robberies of businesses like shops being burgled, and home invasions.
Yep.
And those three crimes were skyrocketing at the time. So it was something that South Africans, people who lived there, were really cognizant of. Yes. That these things were going on.
Similar to, I guess, in some ways, America, the gun laws there were. I don't believe they've changed from memory.
They haven't.
That you could carry a gun and all these sorts of things. So, which I guess as Australians I find that really hard to.
Bizarre.
I get to get my head around.
Actually, do you want to talk now about the lead up, the two gun issues that?
Yeah, you want to put that here?
Yeah, I think so because I think it gives a bit of context. Yeah.
Because this, I think we need to sort of say, like, building up to this, obviously with this being the context of what Oscar was living in, that yes, for everyone this was a anyone
volatile
could have
time.
Yeah, perfect. Oscar became quite paranoid around crime. And so he was someone who was very much into guns and protecting himself. And I guess as a celebrity, I guess you do even higher level of like thinking people would be maybe targeting you. But he seemed to have a whole nother level of paranoia around that. And I say that from his friends have commented on that the idea of security was really heightened to him.
And I think it's worth noting, like, one of his mates was a really famous boxer, and one of the incidents he was actually sort of in the vicinity, well, he was with him at the time.
Yeah.
And he was just as well known at the time of this incident as Oscar, and he even says, like, he
didn't have the same level of paranoia.
No.
Yeah.
So it was something that Oscar was particularly sensitive to, I suppose. So one of the incidents where there was a gun issue in all prior to the incident that happened in 2013, the murder that happened in 2013. He was at a dinner with a group of mates, including this boxer, a couple of other friends, and somebody handed him a pistol under the table, a handgun, under the table. And he accidentally shot it into the marble floor of the restaurant that they were in, right? It grazed the toe of his mate who was sitting next to him. Apparently there was blood everywhere. Like, he's so lucky he didn't shoot his toe off. It would have, because of the... look, again, you and I are not gun people, but the caliber of the gun or something meant that it would have blown his toe off, possibly blown his foot off if it had
a millimetre the other way, kind of thing.
Literally. And then because Oscar's notoriety, he was becoming really well known at this time, he said to his friend, "Oh, you've got to take the blame for this. Like, you take it.
Yeah.
And at the time, his friend was like, "Oh, well, yeah, okay. I mean, it was an accident." But then... two things. Why are you handing someone a gun under a table? Like,
what the fuck is going on to make
what
that
are you talking
normal?
about? I would imagine that if it's like the United States, where if you have a license to carry, especially a concealed weapon, there's rules around that. Like, you can't just go and bloody...
wave it
around or anything like that. It has to be in a proper holster and has to have the safety on and all of that. What the fuck's going on there?
Yeah. And who's handing someone a gun and going like, you having a gun registered to you is different, is one thing, kind of thing, and having it on you, but passing that to someone else, like,
that's
and going,
a
and
no.
then, I don't know, I just find it all very like weird culture between like even mates of what was going on. Like, that just seems odd.
Yeah. Oscar did have one pistol of his own, and the other incident happened and it was with his own gun. Yeah. And he was driving with a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend. At the time was his girlfriend. Yeah. And did they have a fight or something like that?
No, I just think he was driving too fast or something. I'm not sure, but no, because the cops pulled him over.
Yeah.
I don't know what they got pulled over for, though, when I think about it now.
I don't know either.
But no, he got pulled over, but he wasn't happy with what he'd been pulled over for. He was very disgruntled around what the police officer had pulled him over for. But again, I find that just arrogance of like, do you know who I am, kind of a bit. So anyway, it did finish what the cop wanted to speak to him about. Cop left, and in anger, he has fired his gun out the sunroof of his car, hitting a sign, like just purely out of anger.
His girlfriend at the time, she's spoken about the incident and she was terrified.
Yes.
Like, absolutely. Because she's like, he just lost control. Like, he just lost it.
He snapped. Crazy.
Yeah. Scary. Really, really scary.
Absolutely.
The other thing that was going on in South Africa at the time is there was an absolute epidemic of violence against women.
Yes.
And domestic violence. And it was something that culturally, I think, the police and the authorities were trying to start to shift. I mean, there was definite recognition of the fact that it was a really serious issue within South Africa at the time.
Reeva had a previous boyfriend who she had some domestic violence within that relationship. And from that, she had then become a bit of a spokesperson for domestic violence, with it being such an epidemic at the time. And to actually the day of this occurring, she had been at an event supporting,
victims,
charity and everything around domestic violence. So, it was...
In 2013, which was the year that this all took place, a woman was killed by an intimate partner in South Africa roughly every 8 hours. The sexual assault statistics were just beyond comprehension, honestly.
I think they still are today, to be honest. It's horrendous. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, just absolutely horrible.
Yep.
Okay, so... Oscar lived at 286 Bushwillow Street within this Silverwater compound. The house was incredibly luxurious. It was 3 stories. It was a villa, and it was quite spacious. It was quite minimalist in terms of the decor, which I guess, it looked really modern when you look at photos.
Yeah. Certainly
back in the day, it would have been an incredibly modern home. I think it had 4 bedrooms maybe, and the master bedroom was located on the upper floor, on the top floor. Okay, so to give a bit of context about the layout of the room, which I think kind of needs to be said.
Yeah.
The master bedroom led directly into a long open plan master bathroom.
Yeah.
And then there was a shower room. So like it was basically it was a floor to ceiling shower door that you would open and go into a completely enclosed shower room.
Mm-hmm.
Next door to that on the left was a toilet room where there's just a toilet. There was a magazine rack in there because who doesn't need a good read when you're, doing your poos? But basically, as you walk into the toilet room, the toilet is on the left wall facing. Like, so if you walk into the toilet room, you would have to turn left and back on, right and back onto the toilet,
yep.
if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it wasn't directly as you
Walked
open
in.
the door straight in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of will come into play. It was a tiny room. It was 1.4 meters by 1.2 meters, I think. So it was tiny, and all it had was a toilet. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
There was a window in the toilet cubicle that opened to the outside, and at the time Oscar was doing some renovations to the house. There was just a few upgrades that he was doing and a few maintenance things. There was a ladder that was left, so basically where the window was
for the toilet, you mean?
For the toilet,
Yep.
sorry, there was like a little roof sort of just down below it, and there was a ladder that kind of went up onto that roof that one of the contractors had left there overnight.
Yep.
Okay, so that sort of sets a bit of the scene.
So we should say, Oscar and Reeva have been dating for 3 months at this point, and I don't believe it was official that she'd moved in, but she'd been living in the house basically for about 3 days, 3 evenings at this point, consistently staying overnight.
That's right.
So I don't know that they were living together though.
They weren't, because the only reason I say that is because I know she came with a fresh bag that night.
Yeah.
So she must have gone home, changed over her clothes or whatever, and brought them a fresh bag of clothes to his place for that night.
Yeah.
So this is on the 13th of February in...
the 14th of Feb.
So the night of the 13th.
Night of the 13th, morning of the 14th, sorry. So we're talking Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, the night before Valentine's Day. So they've decided to obviously spend the night together.
And they had plans for the following day for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, apparently Oscar had bought her a bracelet for Valentine's Day, and they were going to go and pick that up, and they had a few other bits and bobs planned. So there were definitely plans and things that they were looking to do the following day and spend the day together.
Yeah.
Okay. So Reeva comes over, and the timing of this is not 100% set in stone. And it's really frustrating because I think some of the, and even some of the phone calls that happen and all of that, there's conjecture around it. The reason for the phone calls is because there were several phones at play, but it's really hard to get an exact timeline, and I wish that we could, because I think it would give a little bit more clarity. Like, I'm even talking about when they ate dinner.
Yeah.
You know, there's even conjecture around that.
Yes.
So, all right, let's get into it. Between 6 and 7 o'clock, Reeva arrives at Oscar's home, and with the plans to spend a night, she'd brought a fresh bag of clothes. Somewhere between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m., the couple eats dinner. Now, this is a point of contention for the prosecution because of the amount of undigested food that was found in Reeva's system at the time. But I will get to that when we kind of get to talking a bit later.
Yeah.
Oscar's recount of the night is that at 10 o'clock, they go off to bed, go off to the master bedroom. Reeva is doing yoga, exercises, and Oscar was watching TV. He'd taken his prosthetic legs off because he never slept in them. Fine. I'm sure it would be uncomfortable to sleep with plastic things hanging off the end of your legs. According to him, they fall asleep shortly after. Now, it's also worth noting that it was a really, really, really hot night.
Yeah.
And part of the renovations to Oscar's house meant that particular night they didn't have air conditioning.
Oh, wow.
So it was incredibly humid as well. So much so that Oscar had opened the door to the balcony that came off the master bedroom and he had 2 fans, one a tripod fan, one a pedestal fan. He'd put them both sort of on the balcony to blow fresh air into the room.
Yep.
Okay. Right.
Yep.
Setting the scene there.
Yeah. Yep.
Apparently, he was not a great sleeper, and anything would disrupt him. He didn't like light. He didn't like sound. He liked pitch black. And anyway, and also it was like oppressively hot. According to him, he's fallen asleep, and then he wakes up because he's hot. And what he decides is it's too hot outside, so he on his stumps goes over to the balcony, brings the fans inside and closes the balcony door and closes the blinds across the balcony. He then hears something, or so he thinks, right? So he thinks he's hearing something coming from the bathroom.
And it's pitch black.
And it's pitch black now because he's closed the blinds and all of that. He takes his gun, which he keeps under his mattress, walks on his stumps to the bathroom where he can hear, well, there's two versions of events from him.
Yes.
First version of events is that he heard a window opening, the window opening.
Yeah.
The second version of events is that he just heard somebody in the toilet room.
Yep. He says he whispered to Reeva at that point,
Call the police.
Call the police.
Okay.
Yep.
Then he says he doesn't even remember really doing this, but all of a sudden he shoots into the toilet door 4 times.
Yeah.
Now, again, the cadence of this is interesting because according to the prosecution and to the police, it's 4 fairly spaced out shots.
Yeah, not bang, 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 bang.
It's not bang, 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 bang.
No.
It's bang, 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 bang. Again, this will come into play a bit later.
Yep.
He then says that he goes over to the bed.
He said he realised then, after shooting, Reeva. Like he thinks about Reeva. And so then goes to the bedroom to check on her.
Well, to rouse her,
her.
or to, which, I mean, apparently the gun, this particular gun, which I've got it written down, I'll have a look what it is in a sec. But this particular gun, and it had hollow point bullets. Which
Talon bullets.
Talon bullets, was it?
Oh,
and
they're evil.
Have you seen what happens when they get shot? They kind of like
they
curl
become claws.
up.
They become talons. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of stuff online. You can see like people comparing what one of these bullets will do and what a regular bullet will do, and the way that it curls back on itself and it will rip like flesh. So it goes in similar to any other bullet, but the external wound of what comes out the other side, it literally rips your insides out with it. They are, why anyone would put these in a gun, I don't understand. I do not understand why you would.
For maximum destruction? Like, why else would you use that?
But what's wrong with another bullet? Like, to make it even worse for whoever you've shot and killed, I don't know. It just, I can't understand that stuff. I'm so anti that sort of thing. I can't understand it. But yeah, these things like rip your insides out with it as it claws. It makes this claw in the back of the bullet as it comes out. It's awful.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay.
But yeah, so he goes to the side of the bed to check Reeva, to which he discovers obviously she's not there. So
now it's still pitch black. So he reckons he's like patting the bed to kind of see if she's there.
But then he's like, oh my God, he realises that could be Reeva in the bathroom, to which he then grabs because the door of the toilet is locked.
From the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he grabs his cricket bat, which is nearby as well, and starts to hit and try to... he puts his prosthetic legs on first before doing that. Because he also tries to kick the door in using his prosthetics. He's trying to kick the door in, which when that doesn't work, he then gets the cricket bat and starts bashing the door with the cricket bat to try and get in to the bathroom, to the toilet. So he finally finds that he can get the door open To which he finds then.
I think he like bashes a hole in it and can reach through and unlock it.
Yeah.
And he finds Reeva barely alive.
Yes.
She's been shot 3 times, so 3 of those 4 bullets hit her. Apparently her arm was like just destroyed. One hit her in the hip and then one in the head.
Yeah.
This is where there's a little bit of conjecture as well about what he does next. So his account, I think, is that he calls his neighbour who's a doctor.
Yeah.
To come over. Then he calls the ambulance and then he calls the estate security.
Well, I believe he rings like their version of 000 kind of thing.
Yes.
And it's not, it's like there's something wrong with it. It's like, it was down or something, which blows my mind, which has been, it can be corroborated by the calls out kind of thing. So, and I think that is when he calls security.
Okay.
For them to alert them.
Right.
And then he tries the 000 version again and gets through.
Okay.
It's worth noting here though, like, I don't know, I think this sounds like it's pretty standard, unfortunately, but the ambulance took a long time. The police took over 25 minutes to get on site. That sounds like insanity.
Crazy.
Like that's all. I mean, he's living in a built up area.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you
it's
think
not like it's in the middle of nowhere.
No, I mean, to me, if thinking about living in the city of like Melbourne, you call police in central, sort of in that, you know, built up area kind of level of stuff, you'd find that cops would get there very quickly.
Especially if it was a murder.
Like,
someone's died.
Yes.
Or dying.
Dying at least, even
So the doctor who lives next door or very close anyway, he's the first to arrive on scene.
Yeah.
And by this stage, Oscar had actually carried Reeva downstairs.
He arrived to Oscar carrying her down the stairs. Yeah.
And so he's trying to provide first aid. Now, he said that she was literally barely hanging on to life at the time. Her breath was incredibly shallow. He couldn't really feel much of a pulse. And it wasn't until the ambulance got there that she was pronounced dead. But he's like, I think his account of it basically is that she passed away not long after. He brought his daughter, did he? The doctor?
Oh, I feel like you might be right with that. Did bring someone with him? Yeah.
So at this stage she's now deceased in the home. Once the police arrive there, they do start to try and get a bit of a story from Oscar. Now, the first thing he says to them is he's got blood all over him because when he finds Reeva on the toilet, slumped over, almost deceased, he's then carried her body down the stairs. He is covered in her blood. His hands are covered in blood.
Yeah.
And he says to the police, can you just take photos of my hands so that I can go and wash them? I can't stand this smell. It's making me feel sick. They do that. He goes and washes his hands. He starts to tell them the story. And halfway through it, he's like, I need to go and have a shower. I need to get these clothes off me. And they do allow him to do that. You can see photos that they took prior to him taking a shower. You can see the blood spatter all over his prosthetics, over his clothes, over just everywhere. There's just blood everywhere. It's the photos are horrific.
Yeah.
So if you want to go and look at them, if you want to go and look at them, just be aware that they are absolutely horrific. But his first account to the police is that, well, apparently at about 2:20 a.m., the regular patrol of the security guard came past his house, noted nothing untoward. Between 3 and 3:10 a.m., this is where the story kind of deviates a little bit. So Pistorius says that he wakes up to the heat, as we said, that Reeva was awake and said to him, "Can't you sleep, Bubba?" And he gets up, brings the fans in, closes the sliding doors, and obviously that plunges the room into darkness, and then the rest of the story happens the way that we said, according to him. The prosecution, I guess, their case at this point is that they think that there's been a fight between the two of them, between Reeva and Oscar. It's escalated. Reeva is absolutely terrified because what they find when they go and investigate that little toilet room is her mobile phone's in there with her.
And the toilet
door
seat's
is locked.
down.
The toilet seat's down. She was sitting on top of the toilet, essentially.
Yeah.
She was partially dressed. So now, if this has happened it happened between 3 and 3:10 a.m. And we know this because neighbours heard the gunshots and called police, reported times, all of that sort of stuff. She was partially dressed. The top half of her was in clothes and a bra. You don't wear clothes and a bra to bed, do you?
No. The other thing was at the bottom of that window in the bathroom was a pair of jeans, oddly enough.
I thought the jeans were in the room, like in the bedroom.
Out the window. So is there an inference there that she was
trying to escape
and like drew her pants out, kind of going, I'll put them on when I get out of here because I need to get out of here. Like, getting dressed.
She was
terrified getting out of that room.
Oh, my God.
I find that a really interesting bit of evidence.
Isn't it?
Mm.
There's so many interesting bits of evidence. Like, I just think if I go to the toilet in the middle of the night, I don't take my phone. But
no. I mean, I have kids and I often take my phone to the toilet, but not in the middle of the night.
No. But I can maybe come at it, maybe.
But locking it?
But locking the door, no. I pee with the door open in the middle of the night.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you want some sort of light as to what you're doing.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I kind of could come at with her bringing the
phone for the torch.
For the torch.
Absolutely, that's the only thing I could think of too.
Yeah.
But locking the door actually is my clincher.
Same.
When do you lock the door for the toilet? I lock the door. The only time I ever lock the door for the toilet is if there's, someone else's home and there's other people that you don't know or whatever. Or other people that are, like, you know what I mean? You're at a party at someone's house kind of scenario is what in my mind I'm thinking. Like, I don't lock the door when I use your bathroom. No. I don't lock the door in my own house when I go to the toilet. Like, and the only time I can think of that is when, like, if I had, say, a tradie working in my home or something, I might lock the door when I go to the toilet then. Yeah.
Just to avoid,
embarrassment,
if nothing else.
For the other person, maybe even more than me.
Yeah,
Like I can't imagine a 3-month in relationship locking the door. I don't know. That didn't make sense to me. Other than trying to get away from someone and protecting yourself. Yeah.
Oh God, it's just absolutely. Absolutely horrific.
The police do read Oscar his rights at the scene, and they do arrest him immediately. I mean, this is a little bit awful because I find this really interesting. One of the police officers, and we can get into one of them a little bit more, but one of the detectives was quoted as saying to Vanity Fair that he 100% just believed he was guilty of he murdered her from the moment he walked into the scene. Do I hold much weight in that you can't make immediate assumptions of a police officer? I think that's terrible of a police officer to do. The police officers need to go in there with an open mind as to what could have taken place here. Do I agree with him? Possibly. But do you say that to Vanity Fair? I just find that really interesting
choice. Yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, I think I know who you're talking about. I just wonder whether he just wanted his 15 minutes, didn't he? So, look, I think, there's something to be said about that. But and he was kind of telling the world what they wanted to hear, I think, at the time too. Yes. So whether he actually thought that or not, I don't know.
No.
I think you would have to keep an open mind because the reason I say that is because from the very get-go and that first statement that Oscar made, at the time, his story was pretty concise.
Yeah.
He said what he did and it fit in terms of where things were at. There were things that needed to then be considered later.
Yeah.
For example, if you are so concerned that an intruder is going to get into your house, why are you sleeping with your balcony door open?
Yep.
There's just so many things that upon reflection and upon analysis, you think, okay, well, maybe.
Well, see,
you're not
I
actually
think that became. I actually think that's what the argument was over.
About the door being open
or closed,
or closed. Yep.
I actually think that's what the argument was over.
Okay.
I think he would have been so paranoid, whereas she was maybe like, it's so hot, we've got no air conditioning. Like, just leave it open. Like, and I reckon he has got.
Reeva's mum has a different theory.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've read a bit about her, but I haven't heard her theory.
So she did. I actually remember even watching this like at the time, but she did an episode of Insight, and which is like one of my favorite shows on SBS. Friggin' with Yumi. Oh my God, love it. So she did an episode of, and it was about justice, basically, like whether justice is served in certain situations. And they had in the same episode, they had parents from one of the young men killed in flight MH17. And they had lots of different people, but she was in it, and she basically said that her theory of what happened and she feels she knows this, is that Reeva wanted to leave him. There had been a lot of things in the lead up to this that really concerned her as a mum. And she didn't know the half of it until all of this came out. And so she felt that Reeva was probably making a decision around this time that she'd kind of had enough. Something's obviously happened on that night that escalated to a point where she's then gone, I actually can't do this This is Reeva's mum's, theory. I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving. And that's what got the fight going.
See, I reckon it was probably the door started and then it became Reeva going, like, if this is what we're arguing over, like, this is how aggressive you're getting, I'm out. Like, I reckon it went from point A to there to that, kind of level of, I'm going to go. Like, I'm getting out of here. Like, I'm not going to stay here. It's you're too aggressive and I'm scared and In
the investigation of all of this, and once it went to court, all of their text messages between each other came out, and it was mostly through WhatsApp, but their messages between themselves came out. And one of the things that Reeva says in a message to him at some point is basically that, he scares her. I think I've got the exact quotes. Oh, you do?
Yeah,
have you got it there?
Grabbing them out. Where are we? Yeah, she says, I'm scared of you sometimes and how you snap at me.
And how you will react to me.
And then she says, you've picked on me incessantly. This was her responding to Oscar apparently becoming jealous at a social gathering and accusing her of flirting. Now, I just find such bullshit.
Disgusting.
And she also made the statement around her being criticised all the time, and she said the quote was, "Don't do this, don't do that." Like, it's constant. So there was a number of text messages around that concept, that idea. I mean, look, I have to say, it's a 3-month-long relationship, and this is where you're at in your text messages. I mean, I understand that potentially, like, relationships can, go on overdrive and you can get deep quick. But I was actually having a reflection on this of like a 3-month relationship, and I had sort of a similar time frame relationship in my early 20s that I honestly couldn't even tell you his surname. But I'm like, this is 3 months in and you're arguing like this, this is just no for me.
The defense basically said that, this was just like normal banter between a couple, and I'm like, no, not 3 months in. No. She was scared. She was worried for his behaviour.
Yeah, she actually even one other text message she sent him was, I can't be attacked by outsiders for dating you and be attacked by you.
Oh my gosh.
So clearly, because there were other people saying about the relationship already, they were saying this is not healthy. And we're telling Reeva to get out.
He was very jealous. I know she'd had, was it 2 days before her death, she'd had coffee with a male acquaintance. Like, nothing was going on between them at all. He was just a friend of hers. Yeah. And Oscar found out, and apparently he would just flipped in a jealous rage. And that was 2 days before she died. So I'm like, was all this stuff building up? And it wouldn't have taken much then to potentially flip him over the edge to what ended up happening.
Exactly. I mean, there's definitely, look, the prosecution put forward these sorts of things. The defence had another perspective and, read these messages as being a normal relationship. But I don't know how you can. I honestly don't think it's normal in any relationship, whether 3 months long or 30 years long, for someone to say that that I'm scared of you sometimes. That is a giant red flag that says, no one should be saying that about their partner at any point in their relationship.
Never.
I mean, no. So there was clearly stuff going on in this relationship that he was showing his aggressive nature. And then look, there was another ex-girlfriend, as well as the one who was in the car with him when he shot out the sunroof.
Yep.
Another girlfriend came forward saying that he was, aggressive in that relationship too, and it's why it ended.
And they've been together for a long time. I think they were together for
longer.
like 14 or 15 months, something like that.
Yeah, like he's had lots of I guess in scheme of things, short-term relationships. But he was young. I'm not shaming that, whatever. But I guess
what was he at the time of this happened? 27.
He was like 26.
26 maybe. 27.
Yeah. So he wasn't. He was in his young years. Yeah, go do that. But I think these relationships were ending short-term.
Yeah.
Because of his aggressive nature, not because of him necessarily being wanting to have multiple girlfriends or anything like that.
Yes.
It was more the fact that it wasn't sticking because he love bombed and then he became aggressive, and these women were like, "Oh no, I'm out."
Yeah. Reeva was only 29 when she died too. I think that's definitely worth noting.
Yeah, she was very young too.
Yeah. Oh gosh, horrible.
Absolutely.
So I guess the trial of the century comes after this, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So in 2014, from March to September, the trial went for. It was so in South Africa there is no jury system. It is all the trials are judge alone, and then the judge appoints a couple of I guess. Helpers?
Like advisors.
They're called legal assessors.
Legal assessors. And they can be either legal people or they can be community people. And they're meant to be able to sort of bring expertise from whatever topics are being discussed within that court case.
Yeah, and help the judge come to her decision.
To the decisions, which is an interesting system. I find it.
So the system moved to that after the apartheid.
It was during apartheid that they that they went to this abolished juries because juries were completely made up of white people in the court system. Then they did abolish it altogether. Instead of going, oh no, we should open up to everyone having, make this more fair for any defendant. Instead of doing that, they went, oh no, we'll go the other way and just get rid of having juries
Interestingly though, the judge that presided over this case was a black female judge by the name of Judge Masipa. She was a badass in the lead up to this, and as in, her career was that of absolute, stellar proportions, really.
Yeah.
But what sort of came of it, I find very interesting after.
Same.
Yeah.
So
okay, so
the trial.
So we had the prosecution, who was led by Jerry Nell, aka the Pitbull, which in everything it's like the Pitbull this, the Pitbull that. I think he probably called himself that.
Oh, I totally reckon he called himself that.
Look, he was formidable, wasn't he?
Yep.
He did a really, really good job.
I think he did.
I definitely.
I wouldn't want to have been on the other end of him.
Oh God, no. He was quite aggressive. His cross-examinations of people, I'm like, you would not. Whether you're on his side or not, you wouldn't want to be on the end of that.
No.
Just absolutely so
shitting
intimidated.
yourself.
I'd be shitting myself. He didn't ask questions. His method was really interesting. He didn't really ask questions. He kind of, I put it to you.
Yes.
I put it to you that this happened.
And then you had to agree or disagree with him.
And if you disagreed with what he was saying, fuck, would you just get ripped to shreds?
Yeah.
But he really tried to, I suppose, dismantle the character of the witnesses that were supporting Oscar Pistorius' case.
Yes.
He really did a good job of that,
yeah.
I thought.
Yep, I agree.
This was the first trial that was broadcast internationally. So we obviously had O.J. Simpson prior to this, but that wasn't broadcast all around the world. We got snippets of it through the carriers and stuff. In the United States, whereas this was actually broadcast by nations worldwide.
Yeah,
which
I remember watching it and stuff at the time. So there's loads and loads of visuals and also videos of what went on in the trial. So you can jump online and see all of that stuff still to this day, obviously.
The way that Nell wants to characterize Pistorius, I think, is funny. It's like he's this gun-toting, self-obsessed narcissist who basically just wouldn't take responsibility for his volatile temper and just had literally not one good thing to say about him.
I can at least acknowledge his great achievements in his athletic ability.
Yeah,
but like that's about where it stops.
Didn't touch on that.
Yeah.
The defence was led by Barry Rue. So, he's the one. Sorry, Barry's the one who was like, "I put it to you." That was his thing.
Yeah, right.
I put it to you that this happened. I put it to you that this happened. So he's not really saying that these things happened. He's just like inferring that these might be the things that happened. He really used, I guess, South Africa's, what is it, like their sensitivity around home invasions and how vulnerable they are.
Yes.
As his main motivating factor for his defense. So basically he said, like, of course he had... Now, interestingly enough, I did look into this a little bit because I'm like, you know, in America, they've got different self-defense laws to what we even do in Australia.
Yes.
In South Africa, even if you kill somebody in an act of self-defense, you are still bound to a manslaughter type charge.
Yep.
And so what he is basically saying is that he's trying to, I guess, lessen or make the case that he really thought this was an intruder, so it wouldn't end up being a murder charge, that it'd be downgraded to
manslaughter,
essentially what we call manslaughter.
They call it something different, but yeah.
And to really try and, I guess, maybe get him off on community service or something like that. Because if you did have a home invader and they were armed and all of that kind of stuff, that's probably the course of the way these things would go.
Yeah.
When you're shooting into a room where there's a locked door and you don't know who's behind there.
That person has no way out kind of scenario.
You know? Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There were a lot of witnesses called to the trial.
A lot of witnesses to this.
And
like,
I think
for being something that you sort of go, no one else saw what happened, there was a ton of witnesses, which I found really interesting.
Me too.
Because the way that then the prosecution put those forward, but then what the defence sort of came and brought to dismantle what they had put forward. So we've spoken about the fact that that door was open at one point and then closed. Let's just say when the police arrived, that door was closed. We don't know really when it was closed other than what Oscar says.
Well, he's the only living witness to this whole event.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he does say he went out onto that balcony and called for help too. We didn't say that before, but he did yell out for help from that balcony.
But see, that gets me too, because he said, so he's then reopened the door, gone out there to scream for help,
closed it
come
again.
back in, closed it, closed the curtains.
Yeah.
Because it was still pitch black in there and the curtains were fully shut. Like, come on.
None of it doesn't all make sense. So there's not one, there's not two, but 3, 4, 5 neighbours who swear by pretty similar kind of stories that they woke to blood-curdling screams, that they heard a woman screaming, they heard gunshots. Some, but not all, stated that they heard arguments prior to the gunshots. Not all of them said that. So, and I'm talking. I mean, we can name them. Michelle Berger, Carl Johnson, Estelle Vandermeer, all came forward saying similar stories to what they had heard. However, the defence brought forward a man by the name of, Ivan Lynn, who is an acoustic expert, who claims that from that inside of that toilet or inside that apartment or house, you wouldn't be able to hear that. Now, if more than one person is saying that...
But that was discounted.
This is it.
Because, so what the conjecture around that testimony was, so when Oscar was on the stand, they asked him, did you hear Reeva scream? So he's shot the gun once. Did you hear Reeva scream? And he says, no, because the gunshot was so loud because you're
ringing in
talking
his
about
ear.
these. Yep, he couldn't hear anything. So the defense are saying, well, if he couldn't hear that, he couldn't hear Reeva screaming, and he was right there, then how did the neighbours hear it?
Now,
But the neighbours heard screaming, like arguing and
Yep.
screaming, shrieking before the first gunshot.
so this guy also tried to claim, though,
Oh, yeah.
that you're not able to distinguish between a male and a female screaming. So these people saying they heard a woman screaming probably just heard Oscar screaming after it had happened and realising what had gone
Because he went out to
on.
the balcony and started screaming
Yeah.
for help. Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I just find it really, to me, there were too many. I mean, from what I could gather, it did say that this evidence from this Ivan Lynn weakened slightly the
Yeah.
prosecution's, case. However, to me, sitting on, if I was on a jury, say,
Yeah.
you've got 3 people with the same story from different houses. To me, that says more than this expert. Because, I mean, otherwise...
The other thing that this expert said was that potentially what they're thinking they're hearing is the cricket bat breaking down the door. Now, that I can imagine nobody hearing from doors and doors away. Like, one of the neighbours was like 200 metres away.
Yes.
I can
There was
understand.
one that was 600, but there was one that was 200.
Yeah. So I totally get the fact
Yeah.
that you won't hear a cricket bat hitting a door from 200 metres away.
Yeah.
You would fucking hear gunshots.
Gunshots and
those
someone
special
screaming.
bullets
Oh,
and
yeah.
someone screaming. Like, I get that.
Yeah, yeah. And they also say that maybe they heard her screaming whilst the gunshots were going, right? Now, but the witnesses say, no, I heard the screaming prior to the gunshots.
Yes.
Right? Now, the thing is, you think about her being shot once, she's not screaming. I'm sorry. She's actually not screaming when that amount of impact has been made. I don't think that...
Her arm was the first thing to get struck. So I can come at maybe...
Even then... I reckon the loudest screaming is going to be prior to that even.
Definitely.
I honestly believe that's the screaming you would hear, not necessarily the, to me, in pain scream isn't necessarily that kind of scream.
I think I get what you're saying because you're saying like in the lead up to that first gunshot,
Yeah.
she was terrified. She was screaming for her life.
Yeah.
That's a different type of scream than being shot and hit and screaming out in
that's
pain
immediate.
or,
Like, to me, that's
the
a shock
of that. Yeah.
That's a shock, pain and shock scream.
Yeah.
That's different to, I've got to stop this happening scream. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's valid to say that, yeah, you didn't hear screaming when she was being shot because, well, yeah, I don't know that there was screaming when she got shot. She quickly, after 1 or 2 of those bullets, was probably not making any noise. Whereas prior, yeah, valid, hearing screaming. And then he's saying, oh, you wouldn't be able to hear it anyway through that space. But I think the door was open. I think that they did hear what they heard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another one of the defences, I guess their little pillars that they were hanging on was the fact that Reeva's bladder was empty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what they say is that she'd gone to the toilet, had finished her business, had flushed the toilet and put the seat down when the first shot came.
Yeah. That he's heard a noise, yes, and thought that's an intruder.
He hasn't
when it's actually
said
just
anything in
her
any
the toilet.
statement about flushing
Hearing
the
the-
toilet.
no.
There was nothing in the toilet to suggest that she hadn't yet flushed it.
No.
I suspect, like, if she's died, like, she's possibly let go of her.
You're more likely to hear the flush of the toilet than someone moving. Like just in that moment of like who's
So
here
to
in this
me,
house.
again, that's a moot point. But they're just trying to introduce doubt, aren't they?
Yeah, it's interesting that didn't come up much in the trial, where the defense wouldn't have wanted that being spoken about. The fact that where's the flush? He never mentioned it.
Oh no.
Right?
No.
Yeah. Why is she in that toilet then if she's not flushing it?
Yeah.
Other than trying to fucking get away from you, mate.
Yeah. Yep.
God. The other big one for the prosecution that they had was a pathologist, Dr. Gert Simon. Now, he gave graphic detail in the trial, and it's actually his testimony is a lot of it's been retracted even in the live stream of it because it's pretty intense. People in the courtroom found it disturbing. So he gave...
Oscar vomited during some of his testimony because he found it so... Yeah. So difficult to watch and listen to.
Yeah, her injuries, he gave very graphic detail of those injuries. As we said, those bullets were horrendous that he used. But he also gave evidence around the trajectory of those bullets. Now, what was suggested by Dr. Gert Seaman was that Oscar was wearing his prosthetics at the time based on the height and the trajectory of the bullets.
Yeah, so they can kind of see through the door the angle at which the bullets went through the door. And if he were on his stumps, and, I mean, obviously he loses, you know, what would it be, a foot or two of height when he's walking on his stumps as opposed to walking on his prosthetics. The angle, the trajectory of the bullets doesn't match him being on his stumps.
Mm-hmm.
The bullets are actually almost in a downward pointing way. And so he wouldn't have really been able to do that unless he's got the gun up.
Yeah.
And he's shooting like that. But apparently the kickback of that gun meant you couldn't do that.
No, even with his strength of, you know, and ability in terms of athletic ability, wouldn't be able to, why would you do that? Like,
that puts into doubt Oscar's version of events because if they were actually in bed and he had taken his limbs off and his prosthetics off and then, they wouldn't be on. The other thing that Dr. Seaman says is that the food in Reeva's stomach at the time, so he said there was something like 200 mils of partially digested food in her stomach, which had they eaten when Oscar said they ate, wouldn't have been there.
No.
So he suggests that they probably ate later. Were they arguing into the night? He thinks that Reeva was actually probably downstairs having a bit of a snack at this early part of the morning.
Right.
And they've possibly had a fight down there and come back upstairs. That to him also explains why she's partially dressed still. And then maybe as this fight ensued, that's when the rest of what the prosecution's theory is about what happened.
Yep.
Who knows?
Oh,
it's really hard to say. And I mean, with these things, it's not an exact science. He's speaking from experience and
I mean, same with like the trajectory of the bullets things. I mean, different to here in Australia, they were able to bring in their own experts that counteracted what the prosecution's
It was really
expert.
hard. They brought the door into the courtroom.
Yeah.
It was really hard though because he also then used the cricket bat to break down the door.
Yeah.
So there was a fair bit of the evidence was actually destroyed in that.
Yes.
So yes, I think the defence were able to pretty successfully argue that it wasn't the way the prosecution said. I feel like in the end that kind of ended up evening itself out.
This is the thing. I mean, that's frustrating from that perspective of the court system being you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Here in Australia, you have to agree on an expert between the defence and the prosecution so that you only sort of really get one side of the story. Which
it's not even a side of a story.
No,
it
like
is just one
expert's
opinion. Yeah.
So I think you can actually you can agree on multiple experts, but but at the same time you agree on them. Whereas in this system, the defence can bring their own, the prosecution can bring their own, and they just counteract each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that can be incredibly confusing, and which I think as a jury, if there was a jury involved in this, that becomes really challenging because as a layperson sort of going like, oh, okay, well, this guy said this, but then this one said this, and they cross each other out. How do you get to a solution?
Yeah, I think that's part of like one of the benefits of having a judge, essentially
judge only
trial
in this
instance.
system. Yeah, for sure.
A few things came up about like the botched policing that happened.
Let's go there.
Let's go there. So lead detective Hilton Botha.
Yep.
He admitted to walking through the crime scene without booties on.
Yep.
Now, he saw the blood trail basically leading from the downstairs all the way through upstairs. He just walked on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Contaminating all of the footprint evidence that may have given a little rise to what had actually gone on. They also missed a spent bullet casing that had bounced into the toilet bowl somehow or behind the toilet bowl. Completely missed that.
Just missed it.
So they thought at the time maybe there were 3 bullets. Those 3 bullets hit Reeva. Turns out, no, there were 4 shots. Just missed that initially. The other thing that happened was that one of Pistorius's incredibly valuable watches, he was a watch collector,
Yeah.
a horologist, if you will.
Oh, I hadn't heard that word before.
That's like a watch
collector.
A watch person, yep.
Yeah, love that.
Don't ask me how I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it was in a storage box and then disappeared.
That's interesting.
Yeah, what have you got about the police?
Well, so Hilton Bother was a very interesting person.
Very interesting.
So during the this investigation, it became evident that he himself, the lead detective, was being looked at for not one, but 7 attempted murders.
Sorry, corruption. Sorry, what?
Sorry, what?
Corruption.
Basically, what this was all in one event. I will say that it's not like 7 separate attempted murders.
Yeah.
But what had happened was it was a taxi full of like a minibus kind of taxi of like 7 people that these cops had like shot at. There was a couple of them, and and nearly killed all these people with absolutely really, by the sounds of things, no reason to have been doing this. And it turns out there was like alcohol involved, and that he was probably really, really drunk during this episode. Mm-hmm. So he had, charges basically being about to be laid against him in regards to this attempted murder of 7 people. So, yeah, he was a really unusual guy. He was very quickly then taken off of the case at that point once they realised, wait, no, you can't be investigating.
But he still had to give testimony at the trial.
But because he was the person at the scene, he still had to give that. So, I know the prosecution actually quoted as jokingly sort of saying, well, there goes my case. Because, this guy's going to the defence have got like an absolute field day here to pick him apart and just absolutely destroy all the evidence that he collected from the scene, because he did do the majority of this is a case where the scene is there. The scene, like, he has done the major part of this. This isn't one where, you've got a reported missing person and they were looking into it.
Yep.
And then, when the major parts of the action happen, he's already been removed. No. He was there on the action day. So therefore he has the most amount of evidence to give regardless of someone else being put on the case later. So he had to sit at trial, and the defence, really
ripped
through all of his testimony. Oh my God, what the hell are they thinking, putting him still at the minute that happened, he would have to have gone on some sort of leave. I don't know. He couldn't keep him in the job.
Oh, no way. I don't know what happened to him after, but surely not.
No. Oh,
surely not. From the trial, the one thing that really sticks out to me is, and this is just my memory of it when I think about it even before researching this, is when they get Pistorius to take his prosthetics off in court and walk around in court.
Don't. It's awful.
It's awful.
Like that.
It's really awful. Mm-hmm. And then someone from the defence, a woman from the defence team, she goes up and almost comforts him and takes him back to his seat. Because their thing was he's so vulnerable when he's on his...
They tried to make out as if, someone in his position of not having his prosthetics on made him more vulnerable to an intruder. Mm-hmm. And so his fear and heightened level of fear was what made him then shoot at someone who had invaded his home.
But then the prosecution at the time, when they came up with that argument, the prosecution was like, yes, but if you're a trained marksman, which he was, which Pistorius was...
Yep.
And you've got a gun license, you know that you have to fire a warning shot. That's a thing, apparently.
Okay, yeah, right.
If you're using this,
especially when that person's behind a locked door.
Oh, yeah.
That's the whole thing that gets it for me.
He didn't do that, obviously, because the first shot hit Reeva in the arm.
Yeah.
So he didn't fire a warning shot into the ceiling or
no.
something, did he?
But that's the thing that kills me with this case is that this person, okay, let's say it was an intruder. They're behind a locked door.
Yep.
And his only claim to getting help is whispering to Reeva, call the cops.
Yep.
Now, wouldn't you immediately grab the phone and call the cops or, do that straight away if you actually thought there was somebody in your home rather than shooting through a door being your immediate go-to, let alone
get
a warning
fuck
shot.
Out of there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
get it out,
You don't also know is that person armed? I guess you assume an intruder probably would be. I really don't know.
But then you've got the advantage there of that person's in that tiny little room, locked in there, that you can leave.
Yep.
He could have gone down the stairs and got out the front.
That's what I mean.
On the phone to the cops.
Yeah.
Like there's so many other options than shooting through that door.
House next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got security not too far away.
Yep.
It does.
Yeah.
Yep.
On the 12th of September in 1994, Judge Missteps delivers what I must say was an incredibly shocking verdict.
Oh, totally.
She acquits Pistorius of murder.
Yep.
And she ruled that the state failed to provide intent. We'll talk about that in one second. She instead finds him guilty of culpable homicide, which is the South African equivalent of manslaughter, ruling that he acted negligently in his actions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't. He didn't intend. Now, if you were firing through a door, regardless of who you think is on the other side, you're intending to kill that person.
100%. 4 times.
4 times.
Once? Okay.
Once a warning shot, maybe.
4 times through that door, you're intending to
kill that
person. That's
regardless of who it is.
Yep.
Whether it was Reeva or whether it was an intruder.
Yeah.
So that's murder. Mm-hmm. Now,
I agree.
If it was an intruder, there may be
some
mitigating circumstances that might mean you get a reduced sentence. I can understand that.
Which, I mean, he got 5 years at this point.
Oh,
so, horrible. I mean, to me, that sounds like very light for the extent of what he did.
Apparently, the minimum normally for this negligent, what do they call it? Sorry, culpable homicide.
Yep.
Is 15 years.
Right.
He got 5. Now, the judge said it was because of his disability, because of his remorse that he showed, because of the fact that he was willing to be open in court.
Was his remorse for Reeva or remorse for himself?
It was for himself. Mm-hmm. There's some really interesting shit around this too. This taints it a little bit for me. But, I mean, not that I think he's any less guilty.
No.
But he started paying Reeva's mum and dad the day she died because she was financially supporting her mum and dad.
Right.
And Oscar knew that. And then basically as soon as she passed away, he started paying them something like the equivalent of $300 a week, which is what she was paying them. And they said at the time that they accepted that money because they had no other money.
Right.
But their intention was to pay that back. Now, Reeva's parents wanted that money to be disclosed. They wanted everyone to know that he was paying them a stipend because they felt like it was a conflict.
Yeah.
Although they felt like they didn't really have any choice.
Right.
Because they had been relying on Reeva, and until all of her affairs were sorted out, there was kind of nothing.
Nothing. Yep.
But Pistorius did not want anyone to know that he was paying them because it looks like it's blood money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, that was just an interesting little tidbit I found.
I didn't find that. No, that's really interesting.
So the prosecution decided to appeal the sentence because they said it was just way too inadequate, like way too low.
Yeah.
So, sorry, in October of 2019, he'd been in prison for just 1 year.
Yep.
Right? He was released from prison at that time to serve the remainder of his sentence, under house arrest at his uncle's stunning mansion.
Yep.
Swimming pool, they had maids.
Oh, but he couldn't leave. He couldn't leave, Emma. He was stuck there.
Oh, he could leave, but he needed special
And he couldn't have parties.
Yeah. Or drink alcohol.
Oh.
On the 3rd of December in 2015, the Supreme Court of Appeal of South Africa overturned Judge Missteps' culpable homicide verdict.
Yeah.
This was under Justice Eric Leach, and he ruled that the implied intent of him firing these hollow point bullets into this tiny little locked cubicle would have definitely killed anybody inside, regardless of who he thought it was, and he is officially at that point convicted of murder.
Yeah.
Finally.
But Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But.
Yep. He goes back to sentencing, and Judge Masipa is the judge who sentences him then for that murder.
For 6 years. He gets an additional year for it being changed from manslaughter
Oh, no, it was
to
6
murder.
years in addition to. It was 13 years in total.
No, that was the second appeal.
Oh, was it? Oh, God. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself.
That was
Holy
the second
shit.
appeal. They had to appeal again.
Oh, sorry, you're absolutely right. That was like another year later.
They had to go back again. The prosecution said, this is ridiculous.
Shockingly lenient was what they said.
Yep. How can you go 1 year more for now deciding it's murder from manslaughter? I'm sorry, that's just terrible.
What is wrong with her?
I don't get it. But eventually he is sentenced to 13 years.
And 5 months,
And
which
5
is,
months, yep. But
again, the statutory minimum for murder at the time was 15 years. He only got 13 and a half still.
And then only served 9.
Yep.
So after
served 9, but will
he's under,
still be on house arrest.
Yeah, he's under house arrest kind of thing. But he's also, and he will be looked at closely until 2029. So, yeah, he's got an extensive period of parole, but he is out on parole after 9 years. So,
yeah, so he was released on the 5th of January in 2024 on parole.
Yeah. 2025.
He's not allowed to travel.
2025?
Oh, was it 2025?
I think it's 2025.
He's not allowed to travel, alcohol restrictions. He's not allowed to talk to the media, and he has to do mandatory anger management courses and stuff like that and therapy.
Yeah, let's hope that has some sort of impact. But he's
still
keeping a low profile.
He's still living at his uncle's mansion.
Yeah. Yeah, he keeps a low profile. He's not competing, obviously, in sports and things like that, although he has done a triathlon recently.
Yeah.
And so, which, they say is sort of part of his mental health and things like that, which I totally get that someone who's been in that world needs to be exercising, etc.
But do you really have to why don't you exercise around your community? Why do you have to enter into an event?
I guess, competitively, I don't know. I kind of can't argue with at least he's not going out there going, winning it maybe or something. I don't know. There was another video clip I saw of him which really I found disturbing before all this happened. And it was actually not all that long after the 2012 Olympics where I guess other people who are amputees, sort of the technology around the blades and things like that was increasing.
Yep.
And so he was in a couple of events, and we're probably talking late 2012, early 2013 at this point, where he didn't win the event, or if he did win, it wasn't by as much as he was winning previously. And after the event, he had quite the dummy spit, which was really interesting. That was in an interview, like at the end of the race, where he was complaining about the fact that really he hadn't won. So
he was making excuses for it. He was like, "Well, they've got blah, blah."
Yeah, and he was
Yeah, just not a good sport.
No, it was very interesting to see him. I don't know. He wasn't the golden boy I think they all wanted him to be,
No, I think the facade definitely was starting to come down.
Yeah.
Yeah. People were seeing different things. So where is he now? He's dating a woman who looks strikingly like Reeva, and her name's Rita.
Oh. Oh.
Honestly, they could be sisters.
Oh, I don't like that.
Nope, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that does not sit well.
So in that Insight episode I was just talking about before, Reeva's mum talks about the impact of Reeva's death on hers and Barry's relationship.
Yeah.
So their marriage broke down after Reeva died. She said they just grieved in such different ways and it just wasn't really compatible with each other. Barry died in September of 2023. He was aged 80. June still continues to speak out against Pistorius. She did say that she forgives him. I think I don't know how people do that.
No,
but
I find that hard.
I don't really understand it. But she also acknowledges the fact that he's incredibly like potentially dangerous to a future partner.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
she said
thankfully he's doing the therapy and all those
yeah,
sorts
that's
of things.
true. She said in a statement in January of 2024 when he was released, there can never be justice if your loved one is never coming back, and no amount of time served will bring Reeva back. We who remain behind are the ones serving a life sentence.
Yeah.
And that's
It is so true.
so true. So true.
Oh, gosh, because I don't think he got as much as he should have.
No.
In terms of a sentence for it, particularly once it was reverted to a murder charge.
Yeah.
Seems woefully inadequate.
I wonder what will happen after 2029 and his parole's over. Like, do you think he will come back out in the media and try and spin his story
I don't
again,
know that
or
people would have it. I don't think the public would have it.
You and I were kind of discussing
Yeah.
this a little bit yesterday.
We weren't
and
allowed to do.
I know,
Stop
but we had to
ourselves.
stop ourselves. But I was saying to you, often when we're researching, I do like to try and get opinions from both sides of the fence, just for my own. I want wholeness and completeness in my research. Of course, we always come up with what we think, and we let you guys know what our thoughts are and what our theories are and who we believe and who we don't.
Yeah.
But I like for completeness to try and do a bit of research into the other side of the story.
Yeah.
I couldn't, aside from a few friends who have very tiny little bits to say.
Yeah.
There's not really anyone on any mass scale anyway who believes him.
No. And those that don't agree with the recklessness of what he did. They agree with the thought that he might have had an intruder in his house, but they don't agree with shooting that person in the way he did.
So regardless, they don't condone his behaviour.
So that's where I feel like even if he did, like, as you say, 2029 hits, and does he come out in a bit of a media storm and, try and go back to his old life, I don't think that's going to be possible, because even those people that support him in some way are like, yeah, but mate, you took it too far.
You're still fucked up.
Yeah. Like, so there are people that, I don't know that anyone, everyone to some degree can agree that it's a minimum manslaughter sort of situation. And in that, a very reckless one.
Yep.
I think that's where we all can come at.
Yep.
Whereas, I mean, some people then go to the next level and go, no, he was a domestic violence abuser, and this was next level, in some ways premeditated sort of idea of, he was an aggressive piece of shit.
Yeah.
Whereas some people go, no, like he honestly was just, paranoid and unfortunately took it too far and shot an intruder. Thought he was shooting an intruder.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can't think of your partner in the situation of there being an intruder in your house and going, first port of call, that person I love, where are you? Because there's someone in our house.
That you just reminded me of something that he said to Reeva's parents. He said this in court when he was making a statement, something along the lines of, well, at least Reeva knew when she died that she was loved.
No. Fuck you. No, the absolute opposite. Because even if you thought she was an intruder, even if you are telling the absolute truth in that, you didn't think of her when there was an intruder in your house.
He knew she was behind the door, Meg.
Exactly.
He knew what he was doing.
Ew.
Yep.
Oh, that actually infuriates me.
I know.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
I can't.
I'm like, you disgusting piece of shit. How dare you say that to her parents? How dare you? Yep.
Oh, whoa. Okay, I'm done.
Yep.
I can't anymore.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for another episode. This has gone on
Oh my God,
very
yeah.
long
So
time.
much for this being, there's not much to this.
Yeah. Famous last words.
Oh, totally.
Make sure you come and join us over on Patreon. You've got a couple of more days to get on into the draw for our merch pack. So you can join us there at patreon.com/2crimebesties. Go and check out our website, which is 2crimebesties.com. And if you want to check out our merch, it is 2crimebesties.com/merch.
Absolutely. And if you want to come back next week to check out our episode on Gilmar, we just need you to hit that follow button on whatever app you're in. Hit that subscribe or follow button on the platform that you're using, and you will get to see us again.
Yep. Lucky you.
Lucky you.
I pity the person.
Oh, totally. I'm putting it on a T-shirt. All right. Thanks, everyone. Stay curious, crime besties.
Bye.
my God. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, because your screen's like frozen. I didn't see like that you were going to clap.
Oh, your screen's frozen for me too.
Oh, all right.
Anyway, that's all right.
Is Peter working?
Yeah.
Well, is it work? Playing Fortnite.
It better not be. All right. 91, isn't it?
91 what?
Episode
Oh.
91.
Sorry, I'm here.
Are you? Are you actually?
The coffee's not kicking in yet.
No.
No.
Welcome back to Crime. Oh, sorry, I just started while you were drinking a coffee.
Oh, we're on fire this morning. We're on fire.
You know why? It's because the screen's like...
Yeah, it's you can't see each other.
Yeah, I need to look at you over the top of my screen.
Yeah, we're all
Okay.
stuffed up.
Well, anyway,